last week, the Navy rugby teams of Great Britain, Australia and New Zealand have been locking horns for the Commonwealth Cup. The Royal Navy may have already won the Cup with 2 wins, but there's still a lot of pride at stake.
If you see a sailing ship, it might be a lass. Can't you see he's ready for another run ashore? A sailor ain't a sailor, ain't a sailor anymore. Woo!
Here with me now is captain of the New Zealand Navy side, Ethan Shergold. And Ethan, you've got a bit of a mixture of a side, haven't you, due to sort of logistics of getting people over here. And you lost 26-12 to the British team, the Royal Navy team. But good game, you know, what are the positives you take out of it?
Honestly, I was really proud of the boys. They played really well together, and having the Fijian and Tongan boys with us as well has been a real help to our team. Have been nothing but strengths on and off the field, so it's been really cool to have them. Obviously, the loss stung a little bit, is what it is. Just one of those things. Nobody likes losing, but it's definitely put a bit of fire in us to get up today and really bring it to the Aussies today. And all the boys are feeling pumped, ready to go, and I can't wait myself.
Yeah, I mean, we've sort of bigged up the Antipodean kind of versus a UK side, but we forget that you guys are probably even fiercer rivals than we are over here. So is that going to be played out tonight? Yeah,
definitely. We've even got I think it's the Shelford Stokes Shield that we play for with the Aussies and us. So there's definitely a lot of, no, I guess, bad feelings going to be left on the field, you know what I mean? So everyone's going to be keen, and it's definitely going to be a fierce game, hopefully.
And finally, very strange time to be over here at the moment, but I assume that the UK have looked after you and you've enjoyed mixing with your Fijian players and Tongan players as well. It's been a lot of fun, has it?
Yeah, they've definitely looked after us really, really well. They put us up in good accommodation. We've got heaps of feeds, and they've attended to all of our needs really well. And there's been plenty with the boys needing lots of different stuff, so that's been really good. Honestly, it's been an awesome time over here. We're really lucky to get here, so can't wait for the last game of the series and see how we go, hopefully. Yeah,
I mean, you know, in effect, it's a dead rubber because the Royal Navy won, but, you know, like you said, you're not going to leave anything out there.
Exactly. Never, ever leave anything out on the field, you know, why not? You've got to give everything every time. It'd be silly not to.
Well, Ethan, thank you so much. I'm sure that the viewers of Forces News are looking forward to a tough match, and may the best team win.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you very much, eh?
Thank you.
Cheers.
Joined by the contingent commander for Royal Australian Navy. Thank you so much. I'm sure that the viewers of Forces News are looking forward to a tough match, and may the best team win. Thanks very much. Thank you. Cheers. And now I'm joined by the contingent commander for Royal Australian Navy Rugby, Andy Thorpe. Andy, a narrow loss to the Brits first out, but still a lot to play for tonight.
Yeah, definitely a lot to play for tonight. The Shelford Stokes Trophy, it's a big trophy for us back home. Generally an annual fixture against the New Zealanders. So yeah, a lot to play for tonight, and high expectations of the team.
And we all appreciate the logistics of getting, you know, you guys over here from the other side of the world, and including the New Zealand team as well. And it's been quite a sort of interesting trip for you, hasn't it? But has the rugby really shone out for you?
Yeah, we're really happy with the way that the team's prepared and took to the field the other night against the Royal Navy. Whilst it was a close loss for us, we're really looking forward to building on that in tonight's game.
How big is it to be able to bring, when I talk about the logistics, to bring, I don't know how big your squad is, to take them away from their day jobs for a huge trip onto the other side of the world?
Yeah.
Just to play rugby.
Well, that's right. It's a lot of time and effort goes into it. Really need to thank the commands back home. Whilst we're over here playing rugby, all the work still needs to get done. So the shipmates back there are taking up that extra slack. So we're really thankful for the commands back home, giving the players and the management staff the opportunity to come over here.
And finally, any predictions ahead of tonight? I mean, it's hard, I know. And also, you're playing a side with some unknowns in there, some Fijian players and Tongan players as well. But are you confident in your side, in their skills and abilities to win?
Yeah, 100%. Look, the last week we've really prepared well. We've had a few injuries, but we've had great medical staff that are with us, so they've been able to manage that. So we're really looking forward to tonight's game, and hopefully at 80th minute we can come away with the victory.
Andy, thank you so much for talking to us, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, it's just a few minutes now until kick-off, so let's hand over to our commentary team for tonight, the Royal Navy head coach Dave Pascoe and BFBS's John Knighton.
Well, Kath, thanks very much indeed, and a very warm welcome to a beautiful evening here in Devon tonight. Glorious Devon at its very best at the end of September, and we really are looking forward to a cracking end, really, to this Commonwealth Cup competition. As we've been finding out over the last few minutes, of course, this match is a dead rubber in terms of the actual cup itself, but in terms of the two teams who are taking to the field a bit later on, it very much is not a dead rubber. It's very, very important tonight for both of these teams, especially, of course, having made the journey over from Australia and from New Zealand. And we are hoping that we'll have a lot of you watching tonight from the other side of the world, and that includes Tonga and Fiji. Now, I've been doing a bit of a check on the times differences, because obviously it's a different sort of time of day where you are if you're on the other side of the world. It's very, very early in the morning at the moment in Sydney, Australia. 9 hours ahead of us here in the UK, so good morning to you if you're an early riser. In New Zealand, the time in Auckland at the moment and across New Zealand is it's coming up well, looking at my watch, we're approaching sort of 10 minutes to 7 in the morning there, 12 hours ahead. If you're in Tonga, well, you're an hour ahead as well. It's 13 hours ahead there, so 10 to 8 in the morning. And in Fiji, back to 12 hours ahead. So I'm confused already. I'm sure you probably are as well. I'm waiting for Dave Pascoe to join me. I think the Royal Navy team obviously are coming down tonight in their huge numbers to enjoy this evening's game, because obviously they've got a lot to celebrate, and hopefully we might even see the presentation of the trophy on the pitch right at the end. We're trying to make sure that we can get that. So the Navy have got plenty to celebrate, of course, obviously this evening after those 2 wins, and you'll have seen the highlights if you were with us just a few minutes ago. You'll have seen the highlights of those 2 really important games, and we're going to really apologise once more for being unable to bring you those games live, but I'm sure you understand that given all the circumstances of the last, well, nearly 2 weeks now, isn't it? That was impossible to do. So we've been able to stitch those highlights together, and we may even show them again at half-time, depending on various circumstances. But there was plenty of good rugby to be seen as the two teams come out onto the pitch now to take to the field to get this game underway. Just a few minutes, obviously, to go until kick-off. Maybe that gives us an opportunity to run through the two teams for you this evening. And we'll start off with the team, obviously, who are wearing the mainly black and light blue. That is, of course, the mixture of the Tatua Moana team. That's the New Zealand, Royal New Zealand team tonight. And You'll forgive me as well with a lot of the pronunciations this evening, because a lot of the Fijian and Tongan boys have got fairly unpronounceable names when you're a Brit like me. But we will run through those for you. The two teams hopefully up on the board for you now. And they've got a lot of power, obviously, in the forwards there with Jakoro, Opati and Sami Kelly, the front row, with Kalen Bate, Naomi Dosinga, and we've got to pronounce correctly Bola Ulakai. He is the number 6 forward. Number 7 is Ethan Shergold, who's the captain. You've already heard from Ethan, of course, tonight. He's already looking forward to the game. Tristan Reid, Houston Jacob is the scrum half this evening, with Keanu Howe, Sione Keanum Ono, and Taniela Soko is number 12, with Eparama, Senikalu, Elijah Tulvers at number 14, and the fullback this evening is Caleb Harama as well. So that's the New Zealand team. They're already out on the pitch. We're waiting for the Australian team, who are just emerging now from the tunnel. They'll be coming out, and already some applause for them as they emerge onto the field now. The RAN, the RAN, the Royal Australian Navy team, as they come out onto the pitch now to stand in front, of course, of the dignitaries on that far side of the field. At number 1, their front row is Dominic Morris. Eric Schneider is wearing number 2. He's, of course, the hooker. Number 3, Alexander Wilson, the captain. Samuel Perkins, Michael Dunn, Jasper Lewis. Number 6, number 7 is Pete Taylor. Number 8 forward is Lachlan Taylor. And then going into the backs, at full back this evening is midshipman Fraser Bird, with Zebedee Leroyd at number 14. Thomas Hiramatsu is wearing number 13. Samuel Conti is at 12. 11 is Aliseo Betaruzu, and Harry Hibbs, the vice captain, number 10, with Tane Mann wearing number 9 this evening, the scrum half. So very shortly there'll be the presentations that are being made to the VIPs who are here tonight, and those presentations just about to go ahead away on that far side of the field. The officials this evening, by the way, all from the Royal Navy. We've got Tom Evans-Jones is the man in the middle tonight, with Andy Cole and Paul Stinchcombe are his 2 touch judges this evening. They'll be looking after proceedings and hoping for a quiet night on the pitch this evening. In terms of the discipline, I'm sure that it's going to be a cracking match to enjoy. After the presentations have been made, of course, we will have the national anthems and observation as well. Bearing in mind, of course, we are still in a period of official mourning here in the United Kingdom after those extraordinary events yesterday with the state funeral of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth. Not a dry eye in my house, I can tell you that, and I'm sure that applies wherever you are watching yesterday. And huge tribute to our forces, our armed forces all around, who made such an extraordinary contribution yesterday to the smooth operation and an amazing running of yesterday. It was a truly magnificent effort. But tonight it's all about rugby and these players. Been speaking to a few members of both teams, and so respectful, obviously, of the circumstances in which they've arrived here in the United Kingdom. They certainly weren't expecting to have a situation like this, I'm sure, to face them as they were here. And there were quite a few people, I think, who maybe expected this tournament not to take place. But I think we're all delighted it has done. national anthems we've heard there. Great respect paid, of course, by all the players to their respective national anthems. And the lineup now, the Aussies will stand and face the haka. In just a few moments. Turn of the Fijians and the Tongans to do their pre-match song. Beautiful song, Antipodean magic here in glorious Devon tonight, ahead of this match in the Commonwealth Cup. Remember, the Royal Navy already have won the Commonwealth Cup, the 2 victories that they've already secured with those wins over the New Zealand side, 26-12 in that first match, and then the 26-13 victory over the Australians on Friday night. But if you think this is a dead rubber, then think again, because these two teams are absolutely dead serious. Well, still no sign of Dave Pascoe joining us. Hopefully Dave's not got stuck in traffic, and the rest of the Royal Navy team. We're hoping to see some of them this evening as well and hearing from them. But I will continue as we get ready then to start this first half. With the Royal New Zealand, the Royal Australian Navy in their mainly gold, white shorts. New Zealanders, Fijians and Tongans in their blue and black. Straight away, Shergold and the ball into the maul. Jacob kicks it right onto the halfway line, but it's collected well for the Aussies by Taruzo. fumble there, but still managing to keep the ball. Australians looking to build some early momentum here in these first few minutes of the game. Good phases of play for them. Perkins goes to ground. Connected by Taylor. Comes back. And New Zealand will get the first scrum. Opportunity then for them. Be interested to see what sort of play we see here. A lot of kicking in the first match. With the Royal Navy, of course, against the New Zealanders, and the Royal Navy were far better at it and much more successful with their kicking game. But we will see what happens here. The Southern Hemisphere way, much less kicking. So Houston Jacob, he's from Tauranga in North Ireland, the scrum half. But it's a free kick instead to the New Zealand side. Nice drive forward again from the scrum half from Jacob. Challenging for the ball, New Zealand have it. Daniela. Good early play here from the New Zealanders. And they've won the penalty. In fact, the penalty's gone to Australia. So the referee just allowing it to go forward again. Tom Evans-Jones, he'll bring it back for the penalty if there's no advantage. Advantage still in play. I wonder how long that will go before it's lost, but Australia still with the opportunity here to make some early ground. 0-0 in these opening moments of this Commonwealth Cup match. It's Perkins there under that melee of players. Oh, it's not forward. And yes, the referee is going to bring it back. A long advantage played there by Tom Evans-Jones, but the opportunity for Australia to get the first points on the board. And it looks like the fullback. Fraser Bird is going to go for goal early doors to get some points on the board. All goes hush around brick fields. Probably looking at a crowd attendance of around about 400 or 500 here who've turned out this evening on this beautiful autumn evening here in the southwest. Bird then is having to reset the ball, which seems to have moved away from its marker there. The kick is true, but it goes just wide, so the scores remain at 0-0. Just slightly away from, I think, on the left-hand side of the post as we're looking. Australia, a chance for them to build again. And here's Hibbs, the vice-captain. That's the high ball up. Well collected, though, by the New Zealand fullback, and that's a beautiful kick into touch there from fullback Caleb Harama, who was very successful with the boot himself in their match against the Royal Navy. But Australia with the put in there. Schneider. And it's stolen by New Zealand, but not forward. So they will win the scrum. These New Zealand, Fiji and Tongan players have literally come from right across the South Seas for this team. Some really nice stories attached to them. We'll see if we can get through some of those during the commentary that I've been given. Australia, though, have the scrum. Put in by Mann. But won well by New Zealand, fairly. The Australians have got it back in that melee. The scrum has gone to New Zealand. It's giving them an opportunity then. What, 30 metres out or so? Can they build something from this and get an early score? Drive. It's Reid, Tristan Reid goes to ground. Collected there by the big number 5, Desorga. Well, it is a great pleasure actually to welcome to the commentary point Jared Hayler, who is of course the skipper of the successful Royal Navy team out here tonight, I'm sure to celebrate the Commonwealth Cup. There is a penalty to New Zealand, so let's just see whether they can put an early score on the board here. It's Keanu Howe who's going to take it. And that looks good and true, but he's missed it as well. It's gone to the right of the post, so a penalty missed by each team so far. And the scores remain level at 0-0. Well, Jared Hayler is with me, New Zealand, the captain of the Royal Navy team, and stepping in, I think, for your head coach tonight, Dave Pascoe, who apparently is sat over in the stands over there.
Yeah, he's having a good time over there.
I'm sure he is. What about you? I mean, because it's been, a great competition, obviously, for the Royal Navy. You won those 2 matches last week, so you can sit back and enjoy the match tonight.
Yeah, it's been good. I think both matches, the Kiwis and the Australians, been a real grind for us. The Kiwis was a good one to start, and then 3 days later against the Australians, which is an absolute grind to the death in the end. But we finally got there.
I think we've seen, moments from both of these teams that, really put you under pressure. So really, you can give us a really good insight into the strength of both of these sides as we go throughout the match. They've got such a lot of power and strength, and of course the New Zealanders, they've got Fijians and Tongans as well. So there's a lot of unknown quantities there.
Yeah, completely. Both teams are very physical, so it's going to be an absolute battle of the grind today to see which one comes out on top. But I think whoever sticks in it with the most physicality will win today.
Well, it's looking, pretty even so far. Both sides have missed a penalty. If you've just joined us, we're live here on Forces News Facebook and YouTube, and particularly wherever you are, if you're over on the far side of the world as far as we're concerned, in Australia, Fiji, New Zealand or Tonga, we would love to hear from you. So get in touch, send us a message right here on Facebook, and we will try and get those messages through tonight. And if you're in the UK as well, maybe enjoying watching some rugby action here. It's been such a strange week, Jared, hasn't it, really? Obviously with the death of Her Majesty and all the work that our military have done around it, and that, I'm sure you and everyone in the Navy team are incredibly proud, and particularly seeing, the Navy lads pulling and the girls pulling the gun carriage yesterday at the funeral.
Yeah, absolute testament to those men and women serving our country. It was really amazing to see our whole military and our whole country coming together for what was an amazing woman.
Well, she was extraordinary, and of course, she loved her sports, and she was delighted to see her servicemen and women playing sport at the very highest level. And here we are in a Commonwealth Cup as well. This is something that she really would have approved of, and I'm sure she would have approved of the tournament going ahead last week. It must have been very difficult for all the players to actually be playing sport last week, given the news of what happened. But credit to everybody really who made that such a good, really good competition so far. It's proving roughy-toughy so far as well tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a good break down the blind side by the Australian number 8, which was keenly stopped by the Kiwi 11.
Yeah, but the Australians have won the penalty, so they defended that well. They started off really well against you as well, didn't they, the Australians, on Friday night. I think they had probably the best of the attacking possession early doors, and you had to weather quite a few storms.
Yeah, they definitely kept possession really well. They kicked to the corners and they capitalised on our penalties. Pretty much exactly what they're doing now. They sort of run a nice four-man line out where they rush to the front and then hit up the middle and just keep the ball, which is good. So if they can keep on doing that today, then they might knock down this Kiwi defence. Yeah, the Aussies have come away with the same line-up. It's that four-man rush to the front, which is good. However, I think the Kiwis have just stolen it and kicked back downfield.
Yeah, so the Aussies will have to build once again. Here's Vetteruzo, the winger. Ball back outside, a chance now for the Aussies to build on that far side of the field. They've got plenty of pace, haven't they? Plenty of power up there. I think most people talking before the match suggested possibly that it would be the Aussies who might come out on top here this evening. But I think it was very, very close against, in your two matches. So difficult call to make, really.
Yeah, very difficult call to make because you've got to take into account the flights and the time the teams have spent together. Obviously, the Kiwis have the Samoans and Fijians that have entered their team. So, yeah, it's given them another few days to gel over the weekend. So they've come out firing and they're looking good to go. They're not going to give this one up easily.
And they've won a penalty, the Australians. Similar position to their first one, but this time it looks like the fullback Baird is going for touch, which he's done. Obviously hope that they can drive the ball to the line. Very successful, of course, the Royal Navy, wasn't it? Your tries, I think they all came from line outs, just about looking back at the highlights.
Yeah, it's a big thing that we've been working on in training is our sort of our maul setup. Unfortunately, it worked for us on the day. We only had Monday together as a full squad, so it's one thing that we focused on as a forward pack, and fortunately it worked out for us. And we did the same thing on Thursday before the game, and we got over the line.
Well, I think it was your power really in the forwards that won you the game, and the Australians driving for the line there, picked up, and it's a good opportunity for them now. Ball comes wide, but not forward. The man knocking it forward was Zebedee Leroyd. So it'll go back, but it will be another penalty to Australia. The infringement there, which gives the Aussies a real opportunity. They're going to take a very quick one. Going into the line drive there is the captain, Alexander Wilson. Goes outside to Perkins.
Yeah, that was a very good quick tap and go, and you see that so much more recently in recent years, don't you? Apart from going for the corner, they just tap and go straight up.
Well, I do remember in the Navy's first game. I mean, that was an extraordinary first try. I think it was your kick, wasn't it, virtually from the halfway line, and the New Zealanders just didn't realise that you had the line out, took it quickly, scored the try.
Yeah, it was a bit of smart work from Ben Chambers and Jesse Lowe to get under the sticks. I think everyone was a little bit surprised it happened, to be honest. So that's a yellow card for the Kiwi team from I think it was a knock-on.
Yep. Another opportunity then for. I've got a feeling. Is he going to go for? Surely he's not going to go for goal for that from there. Real opportunity with the New Zealand down to 14. Into the corner. A few messages coming through, quite a lot from New Zealand. Emma Shergold says, "Go the Royal New Zealand Navy." So good evening to you, Emma. No doubt related to your husband who's out there captaining the New Zealand side. Sonia March says, "Good evening from the Bay of Islands, New Zealand. Proud Navy mother. Unfortunately, our son broke his leg in the first game." Yes, that was really unfortunate, wasn't it, Jared, there for them to lose one of their players there.
Yeah, no one ever wishes an injury on anyone in this sport.
And here, surely it's the first score for Australia, but the referee's pulled it back. And
forward pass there.
It was a forward pass. So Veteruso denied the opportunity for that first score. And you'd think the Australians would really need to make something out of this with this man advantage.
Yeah, the Australians are looking a touch sharper at the moment, and if they can capitalise on this this passing, then they'll be over the line.
But, the New Zealand side defending at the moment for all they can. Message as well from John Douglas, evening from Musselburgh, enjoying a great game of rugby from both teams. And I say, wherever you are this evening, it'd be lovely to hear from you, or this morning, it'd be lovely to hear from you throughout the course of this match.
It's a big scrum now for the Kiwis, get themselves out of this 22, get themselves up the pitch and playing some more rugby where they want to be playing.
Good run though for the New Zealanders from Sione. Collected though by the number 11, by Veteruso, who will feel himself a bit unlucky not to have scored the opening points here, but there's opportunities again for Australia. Ball dropped. New Zealand get the scrum. Not forward.
Yeah, I think we're finding that there is a lot of knock-ons in this game. So it's just who is going to be more clinical will win this game. I think the Kiwis are lucky for it to be 0-0 at the moment. However, if they can keep up their physicality and get down the pitch, then it's going to be a different game if they can put the pressure on.
Yeah, we've been playing just 19 minutes, so nearly halfway through this first half, so we're still to get a score in this match. And both teams have had their chances. It's been a couple of penalties. A penalty each side has gone awry. The Australians didn't capitalise. There's a Kiwi player in the bin at the moment. Australia with Leroyd, Zebedee Leroyd, what a great name that is. Taylor runs into a brick wall. There's Leroyd again.
I think it's testament to both teams that they are absolute powerhouses, and like we said, whoever's going to give up first is going to win this game. But no one's given up quite so much yet.
Well, here in the interviews at the beginning of the evening, obviously we heard the New Zealand captain and also the man who's running the Australian team here. I mean, this might be a dead rubber in terms of the Commonwealth Cup, but when the Australians and the Kiwis get together, you can bet your bottom dollar this is, you know, there's nothing going to be friendly about it at all. It's going to be so competitive.
Yeah, you can see the heart and the passion on the pitch already, and the amount of forced errors just through that sheer pressure is pretty immense. So yeah, it's good to see how this one's going to wind up.
Well, it's even Steven at the moment. Still nothing between these two sides. Let's say we're just over halfway through this first half here at Brickfields, the home of Plymouth Albion, who've hosted this competition really well, haven't they, Jared? Because, you know, this is a real cornerstone of Royal Navy down here in Plymouth, and Plymouth Albion, you've got some great links here with the club.
Oh yeah, you've got obviously HMS Drake, and Brickfields is a brilliant place to come, a great atmosphere, and the local supporters of Plymouth are absolutely brilliant, always coming out to come and support us. So all I can say is thank you to everyone in Plymouth who comes down to the Navy games and watches us play some rugby.
Yeah, we've in our time over the years, BFBS, we've covered some cracking games here. The old Combined Services team took on the Barbarians here. It must have been the early part of the 2000s, and I always remember a sensational try that Asaya Damu scored for the Combined Services Army boy, of course. But it was an amazing try that he scored to win the game against the Barbarians, and you can imagine what the scenes were like after that. So there's some great history from this stadium for military rugby, and it's good to see, you know, a good little turnout tonight of supporters to enjoy this.
Yeah, definitely a good turnout. Just a penalty there for the Kiwis going off their feet. They built up some nice momentum, however they've given the ball straight back to the Aussies. So if they can keep up that momentum, keep hammering forward, then they might be able to give the Aussies a shot. However, they're trying not to let them get back into this game.
Indeed. They have the line out. More messages coming through. Hi to hello from Dubai this evening. Very proud mum of Harry Hibbs of Royal Australian Navy this evening. Good evening to you, Helen Marie. And Stuart Rimmer says good evening. And Kylie Mitrovisky Green says good morning from Brisbane, Australia. My godparents used to live in Brisbane. They're no longer with us, unfortunately, but what a lovely part of the world that is. So it must be pretty early over there in Oz. We did the times earlier on. I think Australia is 9 hours ahead of the United Kingdom. 12 hours ahead in New Zealand at the moment, and also in Fiji, Tonga, slightly ahead, 13 hours ahead. So there you go.
I bet it's slightly warmer in those places than it is here, but...
Well, it's been a balmy evening here tonight, hasn't it? The sun just, of course, going down now on the ground. The floodlights will be taking over to give us a real sort of evening feel to the match. Here's Conti driving for the line. Australia showing really all the determination at the moment. Very much on the back foot, the Kiwi team. Number 8 forward, Taylor. Looking for some successful phases, but the defence from the New Zealand team is holding out at the moment inside this 22.
Yeah, the Kiwis have done absolutely brilliantly, especially in man down here. The Australians have given them everything they've got, and they're knocking on the door, but that door has not opened yet.
No, it certainly hasn't. We'll see what happens, but the referees brought it back, and again, the New Zealanders have won the scrum. Defended it well.
Unfortunately, another knock on, and those all those unforced errors add up, and the Kiwi scrum's been looking good. So if they can run this clock down to get 15 players back on this pitch, we'll see the Kiwis hopefully on the other side of the pitch.
Just from a Royal Navy point of view, Jared, obviously this is a very early in the season, and all the focus is, of course, is on that match at Twickenham next May and all the build-up. But how important is it to have a competition like this so early on in the season to really, test what you can do?
I think it's brilliant for us, especially as a young, growing team. We had 14 new caps against the Marine Nationale this year, 15 new caps against the RAF, and looking at us going forward and the way we performed, it was absolutely brilliant that we could put out two performances against some strong teams as we did earlier on in the week.
Well, Sione thought he was away then. The referees brought it back for the penalty to Australia. And it looks like another yellow card.
I was going to say he's pretty lucky to get away with that one, but he didn't.
So that means then at the moment that the Royal New Zealand Navy are down to 13 players. They're losing men at an alarming rate at the moment. But again, fullback Baird decides to go for the corner.
Yeah, I definitely think if the Australians become a little bit more clinical, then they're going to be scoring a lot more tries.
Well, they will definitely. Just thinking that if they don't score now, they're thinking, are we ever going to score? But anyway, here they are. There's wide open space on that left-hand side, and surely we're going to have the first score. No, great defence again from New Zealand. It looked like Zebedee Liradi has been thwarted for a second time.
Very, very impressive defence by the Kiwis. It's an impenetrable wall at the moment, and it is a sea of blue, which the Australians are not enjoying looking at.
Really, I mean, this is great testament to them. I think they're going to have back to 14 very shortly. The 10 minutes in the sin bin is up for the man who had to leave the field. So when this scrum is over, when this period of play is over, it could be too late, of course, for New Zealand, but they have the scrum. Defensive one.
That's a great scrum.
Yeah,
that's a great scrum. That.
And they will surely clear their lines, or they'll certainly drive for it. That's brilliant work there. Ball cleared away, but lots of space now for Australia to run at New Zealand. Great, brilliant tackle again for them from...
And it's a turnover.
Yeah.
It's a turnover by the man of the match against the Royal Navy. What's his name? Ulakai. Played very, very well. An absolute brick wall on Tuesday night.
Yeah, I have to tell you that the lights have been switched off here in the stand, so it's difficult to see our commentary notes. We'll see if we can get the lights switched on somehow so we can actually see the notes in front of us. But the action certainly going on ahead of us. New Zealand now back to 14 players again. And they've very successfully defended themselves so far. Remains 0-0 if you're just joining us live here on Forces News Facebook, with nearly half an hour played in this first half. It's John Knighton here commentating for Forces News Facebook and our YouTube channel, and great to have Jared Hayler with me as well this evening, the Royal Navy captain, successful, victorious captain from their team that won the Commonwealth Cup with the 2 victories they've had so far. But this is such a competitive game. It's what we expected. It really is. It's nothing is being given by either side at the moment. The tackling is just immense.
Both of these teams absolute fighting to the death. You could say that the Australians are on top at the moment, but they just have not capitalised. I'd hate to see this penalty count against the Kiwis at the moment.
Well, of course, if they give too many away, then there's going to be more sin bins, aren't there?
It doesn't seem to be affected them yet, though.
They will tackle all night. And this time, Fraser Baird is definitely going for goal.
Yeah, it's a tough decision, that, isn't it? When we've been knocking on the door, getting nothing. And it kind of feels like a step backwards when you have to go for the 3 points. But with a game like this, 3 points could be all you need.
I'm sure Alex Wilson, the captain, has decided, look, we need to get something on the board, you know, for the man advantage, and for a brief period, the 2-man advantage that we had. So I'm sure that's the reason for this.
Definitely. I think the Australians will be kicking themselves going into half-time, saying, why are we not coming in with more points? However, three points will definitely at least give them a positive outlook on this.
So, Baird then with the chance. With the kick. It's got plenty of power. And it's good. That's a great kick to give the Australians the 3-0 lead after 35 minutes or 32 minutes here. And that is finally, we've got some points on the board.
Fair play to anyone who can kick the ball over 40 metres. It's definitely not my forte.
40-metre kick then from their fullback midshipman Fraser Baird. And you have to say they certainly deserve the lead for, you know, their possession and the amount of challenge. But maybe it'll bring out the best of the New Zealand side now. They feel they're going to have to go for it.
Yeah, that was an absolute great take there by Tristan Reid, the Kiwi number 8. However, just knocked on after that in their first.
Australia get the scrum. Peck Carr says, come on, Royal New Zealand Navy, put Sam Dickey on. Good day for it. We're sailing along the east coast of Australia, just offshore from Cairns at the moment. We're proud parents of Michael Dunn from the RAN, Pete and Sue Dunn. Good evening or good morning to you, Susan. And Alison Leroy. Greetings from Leroy's of Cooma, southern New South Wales. 4:30 in the morning. Great game. Never a dead rubber between the Aussies and the Kiwis. Absolutely right. And it's great to hear from you from the other side of the world here as the sun disappears over the horizon here at Brickfields in Plymouth, with the Royal Australian Navy leading the Royal New Zealand Navy at the moment by 3-0. 32.5 minutes played out of these first 40. The Aussies with those 3 points just from that penalty, all they have to show for their efforts. But I think there's plenty more points in this game, Jared.
Yeah, definitely. I think once we get over the physicality of this first half, there's going to be some tired bodies in that second half, and that's where we're going to see some more points.
Oof, great challenge. It will be picked up by Australia, though.
Yeah, the Kiwis now really putting some good pressure on the Aussies, but another scrum.
Right on the 22. But they have the scrum goes to New Zealand. They will clearly want to do what they can to pull themselves back into this game. But 3 points is absolutely nothing, of course, at this stage in the match. Jacob then with the put-in, one of 2 men from Tauranga. Again, a place I know very well. Not sure if my cousins are watching over there today, but good morning to you if you are. Chance then for the New Zealanders, and this is a lovely run, a brilliant bit of play then, driving for the line, but it's cleared away in the end, and that was fantastic work then from Elijah, who is he was one of the men who was sin bin, so it's obviously good to have him back on the pitch for them, and that pace could prove devastating later on.
Yeah, that was a great bit of footwork, and like we were saying, when there's some tired bodies out there, if he can get around those tired men, then that kick goes another way, and that would be the Kiwis up by 5 points.
But as it stands, Australia still leading this by 3-0.
this is a great attacking platform now for the Kiwis. Their scrum's been good all night. So yeah, 5-metre scrum to the Kiwis. Let's see what they can make of this.
Yeah, Elijah just realised that an under-18 development player in the day with Fiji, and you could tell. Oh, and there's a slip and a chance then for the Australians to break away here, going across the halfway line. Great opportunity for them. Brilliant work though from Betteruzo, who's still going. The Australians still have the ball, but the ball has come back. Opportunity lost. I thought there was going to be a breakaway then, Jared.
Oh, absolutely. I thought that was going to be a try for the Aussies, and I think that would have definitely put them to bed for this half if they had run away with that. Unfortunately, the scrum half, man, couldn't collect it in the end.
No, it just ran away from them a little bit, but I think we've seen indications now from both sides of what the backs can do if they can get the ball. You know, if there's opportunity, there's wide open space here at Brickfields. Great opportunities.
That's exactly it. One error, and the Kiwis are now back in their own 22.
I mean, talking of great tackles, I mean, one of the highlights for me the other night on last Tuesday was an extraordinary tackle from
Jesse Lowe.
I mean, that was a great moment in that match, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was obviously a breakaway from the Kiwis, and Jesse Lowe chased back about 80 metres to cover him, which fortunately led to a knock-on. There was some heavy breathing after that one. My word, it was
a huge breakaway as well. But Jesse, what a brilliant tackle, you know, and tackles like that can win games.
Yeah, definitely. After a very successful inter-service campaign, Jesse's been doing very well, training hard, and he's looking sharp. So he's going to be one to watch for the future.
New Zealand clear their lines. Another lost ball on that stand on the far side of the field. They must have to, every week they must have someone climb up and collect them, because they're all stuck behind the cladding on the edge of the stand. So I hope they've got enough rugby balls available tonight. Yeah, I was chatting to one of the ball boys earlier, and he's very upset with the amount of balls lost already this competition. Kick forward though, nicely collected by Betteruzo. Ball comes back, penalty to New Zealand. Kick goes into touch then from Keanu Howe. Yeah, it's a good kick. It gives them some decent field position in their half. So let's now see what the Kiwis can do with this ball. Hopefully, if they're a little bit more clinical, then we'll be able to see some running rugby. According to our clock, we're into the last 5 minutes of this first half, but of course the clock is stopped independently. So we'll certainly have a few extra minutes, I'm sure, of play, although I don't recall too many stoppages in this game. Certainly no injury stoppages so far. That was a great break by the Kiwi number 7, Goldie, their captain. Yeah, Taniela is very good going forward. He certainly is, and still going. Great power from these Fijian boys and Tongan boys. Probably their best period of attacking possession that we've seen really in this first half from the men in the blue and black. Yeah, they're looking strong now, approaching the 5 metre line. They just need to hold on. They'll keep going forward if they keep doing what they're doing. Hopefully get over that line. There's Batty, still in there. Ball drop though. Australia win the penalty, and that was a bit of a relief for them, I think, for the players in yellow.
A very, very good turnover and very well timed by the Australian 7.
And that indeed is the half-time whistle. In fact, it's come exactly on 40 minutes. So the referee, Tom Evans-Jones, playing hardly any stoppage time at all. And the players will take their leave of the field, go and make their way across for a half-time break, which just gives us a moment or two just to reflect perhaps on the success of the Navy team. We've not had too much of a chance to talk about your successes this week. I mean, I remember the lads were clearly well together, weren't they, at the end, Jared? It must have meant an awful lot to, 2 games, 2 wins.
Yeah, I think for us as a Navy Rugby collective, we definitely came together with the intention of firstly introducing new players into our squad, but ultimately winning the competition. With the strength of our inter-service side, we came in this not necessarily as sure as we thought we would go. However, going through our team run on Monday, and with the faces that we had, we were quietly confident that we could put out a good performance. What that performance was, we were unsure, and you never know what you're going to get against the New Zealand and the Australian sides. And fortunately, we ground out 2 decent wins against 2 strong sides, as you can see in this match today.
Well, they were very good performances, and I'm sure Dave Pascoe was delighted. Really, you basically achieved exactly what you wanted, what you set out to, and that was to retain this Commonwealth Cup. It's very important, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I was part of that team in 2018 where we won the Commonwealth Cup under slightly different circumstances in Portsmouth, but it's a slightly different bit of history for me personally, which it's a lovely thing to win, and it's just a great competition to be involved with.
Well, Jared, it's great to have you with us here live for the coverage of the game. 3-0. Very, very tight match. But at the moment, it's the Royal Australian Navy who lead the Royal New Zealand Navy by 3-0 at half-time. And I think we can go pitch side very, very shortly, where Kath Brazier has got at least one guest to talk to us. We'll take a quick break, shall we?
Happy days.
Over to you, Kath.
Well, it's a really tight scoreline here at Plymouth Albion between the Royal Australian Army and the Royal New Zealand Navy. I did say Army, I'm sorry. Royal Australian Army, Royal Australian Navy and Royal New Zealand Navy. Royal Navy is easier. Rob Jones, team manager. Yeah. You guys kicking back this evening. You're all here with your suited and booted, but enjoying the competition so far?
Yeah, it's nice to enjoy the win. We've played them both. We're sat here now as spectators watching the game, and it's nice. It doesn't hurt so much, certainly. But yeah, we'll see what we've won the tournament, but we'll see what tonight brings.
I mean, they're only 3 points up, only a penalty up here. Given your games were quite high scoring, what was it about Royal Navy's play that gave you the sort of freedom to score those points?
I think we didn't spend a lot of time together, but we galvanised pretty quickly. So we spent a lot of time at Taunton, the new home of Navy Rugby, and we enjoyed getting together and watching a game of rugby at Taunton, where some of our players were playing, and just had fun. Sometimes IS rugby can be a little bit serious, so we had fun and we galvanised pretty quick.
What's it like? I know that John asked Jared Hayler the same question on commentary. What's it like sort of organising a tournament like this and games like this and getting the guys G'd up for games like this so early on in the season?
It can be really difficult because we're tending to tell our players to go out and play club rugby and concentrate on that, and then we're hooking them back in to put this together, but the clubs are understanding. And ultimately we've got something, and I think we put something that was quite special together.
And you've got Jared Hayler for this week, but the likes of Sam Metavesi doing brilliantly at Northampton Saints as well says a lot about Navy Rugby, doesn't it, on a club level?
Yeah, Sammy's great. I've been talking to him throughout, and we've got now maybe 8 guys in professional environments, so it keeps us as a management staff on our toes, because these guys come back in and they expect more of us, which is challenging itself. Yeah.
Well, thanks very much, Rob, and I hope you can continue to enjoy the game here between the Royal Australian Navy and the Royal New Zealand Navy. We have got the highlights of the first game, which Royal Navy won, for you now.
A minute's silence and passionate national anthems in what's been such a challenging week for all service personnel after the death of Her Majesty the Queen. The Royal Navy players were then on the receiving end of the haka as the Royal New Zealand Navy looked to strike fear in their opponents. But Royal Navy head coach Dave Pascoe has had plenty of time with his players ahead of the first Commonwealth Cup since 2018, and they made a good start. James Hanley's amazing kick put them in a scoring position, and the quick thinking of Ben Chambers allowed Jesse Lowe the simple task of dotting over the line. Jordan Gott added the conversion, and the Kiwis were yet to get going. Their team contained Tongan and Fijian players for this tournament, and they nearly got a score of their own. Caleb Harema's interception gave them a chance. But a superb tackle from Lowe put an end to that. From there, the home team took full control in Plymouth. Skipper Jared Hayler took his chance superbly before hooker Rhys Williams started and finished the move for a third try. Gott went 3 for 3 on conversions, and the Navy led by 21 points to nothing at the break. A big second half needed for the men in blue and black. They'd have been pleased then when a quickly taken penalty from Caden Wise found Ethan Shergold, who dove over in the Devon rain. The Navy's fourth try came from a familiar source. Their superior strength in forwards resulted in replacement Connor Bick driving to the line. The visitors got the final score, Paula Ulkai going over, but it was the men in white celebrating at the end.
Well, welcome back here to live to Brickfields, just showing you some of the highlights there of those first matches, and you know, it's so evenly poised here at Brickfields tonight as we wait for the teams to come out for the second half. And Jordan Gott's joined us as well. Jordan, good evening to you. You're very well dressed indeed, sir. Thank you very much indeed for taking time to come over and say hello this evening. Yeah, you're live. We're live on Facebook.
Hello.
Yeah, we're live on Facebook and Forces News YouTube tonight.
Hello, everyone. You're right.
Yeah. Now, tell me, you know, you played a really big role, of course, in the Navy victories to retain that Commonwealth Cup. What's it felt like in the camp, you know, since you won?
I think the boys have just enjoyed it, really. I think it's been a couple of days. It was quite a short sort of period of getting together. It's quite intense. So I think now the boys are a bit enjoying it. They're enjoying not being a part of it and just watching from the sidelines now. You can see the boys just scattered around now, but I think the boys are enjoying just watching it tonight. But I think the win in the Commonwealth has been massive for us. I think it'd be a really good platform for next season going forward.
Indeed, I mean, it's something that Jared and myself have been talking about during commentary tonight. That actually, to have this opportunity to play such a big tournament so early in the season, you know, is a real boost and a benefit for everyone, isn't it?
Yeah, it's massive. I think, like I said it sort of after we'd won it, it was yes, it was enjoy the moment, but it's also this has sort of put us weeks ahead and coming towards the camp next year, whereas taking sort of 4 or 5 weeks building into the camp sort of period before the French, before the Army and before the RAF, it's sort of given us that we've got together, everyone's got to focus in, the basics have been learned. Now it's a case of go back to units, go back to do your jobs, and then when it comes to camp, we're sort of a few weeks ahead.
Jared was saying to me, towards the end of that first half, that in fact, as a half-time whistle was going, that you weren't really quite sure what to expect from any of the teams that you were up against here, both Australia and New Zealand. Did it play out in a way that you expected in the end? Because obviously you had the 2 wins, but there was a lot of strength in both of those sides.
Yeah, I think at times we just played better to our strengths. I think in attack, the Aussies looked pretty lively. Defensively, the Kiwis are very strong. They had a few big lads. I think we were fairly fortunate with the weather the first game. I think the rain almost played into our hands. We're used to it over here, aren't we? We're used to that tight game, particularly as a Navy side. So there was no real surprise what they brought. We were sort of pre-warned before the game about how excited and into it the Aussies getting stuck into you boys. I know Paco's got quite a few memories of that. But there's no real surprises from them. You knew what you're going to get. You knew it was going to be a hard game. But yeah, I'm just...
Ended in that first half. At one stage they were down to 13 players, but they've restricted Australia to just 1 penalty. So how do you think the second half's going to go?
I think if they're back up to full numbers now, which they should be, I think that sort of excitement, getting stuck into each other for the first half, I think they'll settle a bit more, and they'll start getting to their pattern a bit. I think that first half both teams sort of forced it, particularly that sort of final pass. So hopefully in this half they'll sort of put their heads together, to calm down in the change rooms, they'll be back up to full numbers, and then I think they'll play a bit more of a structured game, which I think both teams are needing at the moment.
Jordan, thanks so much for joining us tonight. It's great to have your thoughts on that, and I'm sure a good night is going to be had by all the lads this evening. If you've been able to enjoy the moments really since you won that cup, I think hopefully there might be a bit of a presentation later.
Yeah, cheers for having me. Yeah, I think we're going to go and do that now. I think a few boys, a few drinks, watch the game, enjoy this half, and then see what the night brings.
Okay, well, have a good one, whatever you do. I'm sure a good run ashore here in Plymouth will do the trick. I say the New Zealand boys are out on the field very quickly, aren't they, for this second half? They've obviously been well primed by their coach to make sure that they absolutely give it everything in this second half.
Yeah, definitely. They're going to be ready, they're going to be rare, and they're going to be good to go. This is, sort of the battle for second place, and no one wants to be third, So yeah, it should be a good hit out this half.
I'm really delighted to tell you we've actually got some light now in the stand, so I can actually read my notes and maybe give you a bit more insight into some of the players who are on the field tonight. Ian Harrison says, afternoon from southern Alberta. So there we go. From one side of the world where it's early morning to the prairies of Canada, we are truly worldwide this evening here on Forces News Facebook and YouTube as well. But wherever you are, great to have you with us. The second half about to start here with the New Zealand side obviously kicking from left to right as we look in the big high tall stand here, which is completely empty this evening. Everyone is gathered over on the far side of the field. And Jordan, please feel free to stay with us to add your thoughts to the second half as we go, if you want to, and we would be delighted to have you with us. It's obviously Jared with us as well, to the victorious Royal Navy captain from the Commonwealth Cup. But we are away in this second half. The Aussies kicking from the right to left in their yellow jerseys.
Yeah, not opting to exit there. It's the Aussies looking to potentially run it a little bit more, thinking that they're going to have a bit more favour with the ball in hand. And yeah, let's see what they can do. The Kiwis completely knocking them back at the moment, back to their 22. So
when they're at full strength, to full 15, which I think they probably will be now, won't they? They served the sin bins, both of the players. It's going to be a very, very interesting second half here.
Yeah, definitely. A little bit of a kick battle now, and let's see who's going to be the winner of this.
kicking not something we see too much of, certainly the highest level in the Southern Hemisphere, is it? And I was interested to see that you had the better of the kicking, you know, in your 2 matches against the Southern Hemisphere sides.
I think we're very fortunate. We've got some talented kicking in the man to the left of me and Jake Hanley, so we did very well at that end.
Eric Schneider then will take the line out here for Australia. Just 4 men in the line out on either side. Win it well. Already the Aussies have made a change. Connor Trudgeon has come on, wearing number 22 for them, and I'm sure there'll be lots of interchanges going on throughout the course of the second half, which we'll try and keep you up to date with. But they do make the changes very quickly. But this is a lovely move now, the full back outside. A chance then for the Australians to get the first try of the game, and it is Eric Schneider who has gone over the hooker for that first try. Brilliantly created for them, scything their way through into the 22 to get that first try.
Yeah, it's always nice to see a loose head prop hitting off the line out, which gave them that momentum ball to rewind down the blind side. Yeah, very well worked move to catch the Kiwis off guard.
Yeah, he did really well, and that's the perfect start really for the Australian side here. It's ironic, isn't it? They dominated possession against the 13 and 14 players, but they couldn't find a way through. Now the Kiwis are back to full strength again. Then they get that to this first break.
Yeah, for me, that's just come from that kick game when you were saying about, as a side, we kicked fairly well when we played them. That, for me, just sort of emphasised that, rather than playing 15 phases down in your own 22, your own area, against a solid New Zealand team. Kick battles come in, they've gone long, they've kicked it back, and then they've kicked it back long again. The Kiwis haven't got a particularly great exit, which has given the Aussies a scrum in a good position. So for me, it's that kick game. I think whoever manages that in this game sort of take the time, pins the corners back and plays a bit more territory. I think they'll be the team to come on top.
Well, the fullback Baird has missed the conversion there, which means the score is 8 points to 0 in favour of the Royal Australian Navy against the Royal New Zealand Navy. And it was, he was quite close with that conversion, wasn't he?
Yeah, he just hit it a little bit too far to the left. I think Jordan will tell you what he was doing wrong there.
I blame the ball. That's usually my go-to.
But yeah, a good kick return by the Kiwis, which has led to their own line out now. So let's see what the Kiwis can return after that Australian try.
Yeah, they'll need a quick response here, I think. They don't want this game running away from them. But this is a really good start for the second half then for the Royal Australian Navy in this final match of the Commonwealth Cup here in Plymouth. Remember, Royal Navy have already secured the cup itself with 2 victories last Tuesday in the driving rain. It had to be said, it was a teeming rain we had here. Very different conditions, must have made life pretty difficult for both players. Perfect conditions though last Friday, and very similar benign weather this evening, isn't it? And it does make a difference to the sort of game that we see.
Yeah, definitely. You always opt for a little bit more running rugby when the weather's nice. As Jordan said earlier, the Tuesday when it was a little bit more slippery probably helped us with our kicking game. A couple of 50-22s, which definitely put us on the front foot so we could execute our mauls.
Well, Tom Evans-Jones has awarded another penalty to Australia, and they'll try and make some ground, which they do very successfully. Touch judge on this near side of the field is Paul Stinchcombe, and on the far side it's Andy Cole, with Tom Evans-Jones the referee.
You've got the dream team of Navy referees up there.
They've certainly been looking forward to this, I think, and officiating very fairly so far. It's been a really good-tempered match, been tough, but it's good-tempered. I think that the sin bins really were for technical infringements, really, rather than anything else, and you do get those in matches, but there's been nothing sinister, no nasty challenges. I think I saw a no arm tackle when you played the Australians, which is very unusual.
Yeah, there's always a bit of a rivalry whenever we played with the Australians, and I think we found that on Friday night. That's life on the pitch. Off the pitch, we had a couple of beers and we got on with it. But that's a brilliant scrum by the Australians.
Yeah, they'll win the penalty surely for that. Brilliant turn round. They win the penalty. Will they go for goal, or will they try and press home this advantage? What would you do in this situation?
I think I'd have to go to the corner with my kicker missing a couple of kicks. I think off the boot, go to the corner and execute our maul. However, they've opted for the kick. The kicker's got the ball and he wants it, so let him have it.
I thought the confidence might have been such in their side that they would have definitely gone for the points, maximum points here against the New Zealand side, who are not really firing at all at the moment, are they, in this second half?
Not yet. They haven't got into this yet. They had a slightly poor execution of the line out, but as soon as they can get that ball back in their hands and get out the field, then hopefully we'll see some better execution.
George Twala says good evening from the Lake District, UK. Go on the Royal New Zealand Navy. And Nikki Tui, let's go New Zealand from Brisney, Houston, Jacob's mum. So great to hear from you from the other side of the world this evening, where you'll be waking up to the news at the moment that the Royal Australian Navy have an 8-0 lead over their Kiwi rivals here, and that is just wide again. So he's just overcompensated on either side from roughly the same positions from those kicks.
What's he doing there, Jordan?
What's he doing wrong, Jordan? Come on.
Yet again, I'd be blaming the ball there. But no, I think it's easier to get in your own head to overcompensate. You think I pulled this one or I pushed the last one. I think the biggest thing is just take each kick as it comes. Maybe there he's just thought he's overcompensated a bit. But again, I'd be blaming the ball there.
So another penalty, though, to Australia. They've got a chance again, just on the halfway line.
Another yellow card for the Kiwis now. That's 3 yellow cards. I think you're going to find some tired bodies out there tonight.
Yeah, and the man who's being forced to leave the field is actually the skipper, Ethan Shergold, who's having to go off. Not happy. This is not happy times for the. It must be quite difficult when you've got a mixture of players, you know, not just from New Zealand but also from the South Sea Islands as well. Probably never really played together that much, and they've come over here. It must have been tough. It would have been, I suppose, it would have been almost like a UK Armed Forces team, you know, a UCAF team, all getting together and trying to blend together for, you know, for a tournament, especially away from home.
Yeah, I think that cohesion's massive, and you can get lads who fit really nicely into your team, and you can get lads who take a while to gel. I think the thing that the Navy side worked well is we had some great consistency from our IR squad. It looks like the Australians are playing very well together, and I think there's some really good individual players on this New Zealand team. However, I just don't necessarily think that they are gelling well together yet.
Lovely work then from Zebedee Lerode. Still going on the Australians with Lachlan Taylor, bundled into touch.
That was a great bundle into touch, that though.
So New Zealand will get the throw.
The Kiwis have some big boys. I avoided that number 3 all day.
And it's their hooker, Opeti, who's going to take it. He's marrying Emma Jane when they return to New Zealand, so there's something for him to look forward to, even if they lose the game tonight. So I'm sure Emma Jane is watching and cheering him on.
Congratulations.
Yeah. New Zealand clear their lines. Only as far, though, as the number 14, as far as Zebedee Lerode.
I think just there sort of highlighted a good time where sort of why we did a bit better this sort of campaign than these boys had. It was just more we kicked long, cleared our lines, put the pressure back on them.
It's a beautiful kick from Hibbs, isn't it? Brilliant kick from Harry Hibbs, but great defence from the New Zealand side to get themselves out of trouble. But that was lovely play from Hibbs there.
Yeah, he's looked lively all for the last couple of games. This is just where I think New Zealand needs to get hold of the ball and play down there, get out of this bottom third, spending too much time down here, and the Aussies just keep putting more and more pressure on them.
Well, it's 8-0 to the Australians here. They're keeping the pressure on their rivals, looking to increase that lead. Their possession certainly deserves it as they go once again. Here's Betteruzo, drops the ball back with the full back. That's a very strong tackle.
Oh, here we go, another yellow card.
I think that was rather a too high a tackle, wasn't it? Yeah. Referee not happy with the number 13, with Mparama, the Fijian. I think that he's going to be leaving the field as well. High tackles like that just simply not allowed really anymore, quite rightly so. A very severe word from Tom Evans-Jones. I suspect the New Zealand side are going to be down to 13 men very, very shortly. If he gets away with it, well, he'll be a lucky man. And he isn't a lucky man, I'm afraid. That's 10 minutes in the bin for the big Fijian.
Yeah, I think Tui Pelotu is having a few words with his boys now, saying let's keep these tackles below the waist now. Can't afford to lose any more men.
Yeah, Tui, of course, the vice captain, is looking after things because the captain, Ethan Shergold, is serving his 10-minute ban at the moment.
I think they're running out of chairs over there in this.
Yeah, they have to borrow one from the stand. But I mean, it gets to a point really when it can't become a contest anymore. You know, if so many players are having to leave the field.
Yeah, it's a tough one, especially when you go down to 14 men. You want to increase the physicality, but in increasing the physicality, unfortunately, sometimes shots go a little bit higher, which can lead you into the point where the Kiwis find themselves now at 13 men.
But the Aussies failed to score against 13 men. They've won the penalty though. Very quickly going to be taken, is it? No, I think Trudgeon thought very seriously about taking that penalty quickly, but I think it's going to be a scrum.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the launch play that the Australians come off the scrum now. They should obviously have the man advantage and
two-man advantage.
The two-man advantage. So if they can spread this wide, then yeah, they should be able to get over the whitewash.
So a change being made. Kelly is going off, and he's being replaced by another big lock forward. Or prop forward, I should say. Down to the front row.
So this is the announcement we've all been waiting for. Choose when you pass this sort of goes on their half.
Here come Australia, and surely we're going to have a second try for them here into the corner. No, good defence, great defensive play from the New Zealanders again to keep the Aussies out.
Looks like that's a turnover as well. That's absolute brilliant defence, great turnover, and he's exiting up the field. Not fun touch. This could cost him.
And here's the fullback. Here's Baird driving it forward. Decided to hold on to it. Made the wrong decision, perhaps.
Absolute great scrambled defence by these Kiwis. They are not giving up easily.
They really are working hard. Here's Hiramatsu. And
just had a little cloak of invisibility there, didn't
Yes, they did. So the second try goes in for Australia.
Can't exit.
So to try for the Royal Australian Navy scored by Thomas Hiramatsu.
Yeah, it was Hiramatsu who went in, the number 13. And number 13 gives them a 13-0 lead, ironically enough. The second try could just be the one that's going to win them the game.
Yeah, I think this is what you find when you can't exit from your own 22. There's been numerous occasions where they've had that chance to kick the ball off the park, and it stayed infield, which has given the Australians a great attacking platform. And fortunately, with the amount of pressure they've put them under, that wall has buckled.
Baird with the kick, and he's pulled it again to the left. I'll tell you what, they've missed so many opportunities from penalties and the conversions. They're racking up. It's 13-0 though, and will that be enough?
Those balls are dodgy, aren't they, Jordan?
Yeah, blame the ball again, Jordan. Yeah, go on. Alison Learoyd says, enjoying the pronunciation of the surname. Thank you very much, Alison. Doing our best here. And Dave Smith watching from Wales. All the family are proud of you, Harry Hibbs. So I think there's a lot of very proud parents and families watching the games today, particularly maybe on the other side of the world, where the time is moving forward all the time, of course. Getting more daylight.
I think now we'll start to see a bit of a momentum shift towards the Aussies now. A couple of mistakes from the Kiwis. They're not playing the right areas. Kick out on the full, we've all done it, and I've done a couple this season. But it gives the Australians good ball in a good area of the pitch. So we'll see what they're going to do with it now.
Still 2 men down, of course. The New Zealanders, the ball right on that halfway line for the scrum. Referee not happy with it. It'll come back again. I think we've got 2 happy commentators here enjoying their new opportunities. Jordan and Jarrah joining me from the victorious Royal Navy team, and much celebrating, I'm sure, to come for a terrific performance. I think it was true, though, that you had to sort of just keep the celebrations a little bit sort of tentative, didn't you? Obviously, bearing in mind the time that we're in at the moment, and certainly on Friday, you know, with the weekend ahead and whatever. And it must have been quite hard in a way. You wanted to celebrate, clearly, a great victory, but you know, showing that respect. I mean, you must probably have some colleagues who were involved in a lot of the things that were going on to support the efforts, you know, for Her Majesty's funeral and all those bits and pieces.
Yeah, definitely. We're service personnel first and rugby players second. So I think the importance relied on being respectful and showing our respect to the royal family.
And how proud were you, you know, to see, you know, those boys and girls, you know, pulling the gun carriage yesterday? It was a hugely proud moment, and not a dry eye in my house yesterday for that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely exactly the same in my household. My fiancée, she's Army, and obviously I'm Navy, so it's a huge privilege for the Navy personnel to be carrying Her Majesty, and it's a momentous occasion of national sorrow.
It certainly is. But celebrating the sport that we can this evening, and that obviously is something that's really important. And I think we've already discussed, isn't it, earlier, how, you know, the royal family absolutely appreciate the value of sport in our forces, and to certainly to have a Commonwealth Cup at this very moment is really appropriate. Here come the Australians once more with the opportunity for them, with Harry Hibbs again. Just been talking about his proud family watching him this evening.
Yeah, Harry Hibbs, a very lively character. He played very well against us on Friday. So yeah, I hope his family watching are very proud.
They are, I think they are indeed. Ball goes out wide onto that far side of the field from our commentary position here. One back though well by the New Zealanders. I think they will have at least one of their players back very shortly, having served his 10 minutes.
The game is very upped in physicality now, hasn't it? I think you can see the lads are really running with some venom now.
But when you've got a 13-point advantage, it helps, doesn't it?
Oh, it definitely helps. You're just looking to run down the clock now. You've 19 minutes left. You're sort of happy. You're going to just play territory, keep the points ticking over if you can, and keep hitting hard.
Well, George Tuala says, put Joe on. Well, we'll try and get that message across to the bench to see whether they respond to that one, George, OK? And I'm sure that he will be on very, very shortly, but more changes afoot at the moment. Nothing line out taken by the Aussies, but that was not in the centre. It was rather wayward.
A bit unfortunate. The Australian lineup's been functioning reasonably well actually this game, and I never understand why we give not straights if there's no competition. So I think at least we should get competition in the air and then we call the not straights, but that's my personal opinion.
Leighton Fowler says, Lasago Houston, Jacob dive on it, he says.
Let's go, Jacob.
Keep those messages coming and we'll try and broadcast them as long as they're broadcastable. And wherever you are today, it's great to have you with us here on Forces News Facebook and live on our YouTube channel for this historic game, the last match in the 2022 Commonwealth Cup Navy's rugby competition. High time you went to the other side of the world, isn't it, really? I suppose you have to wait another 4 years now.
Yeah, so 2018 it was in Portsmouth, 2022 it's in sunny Plymouth. I think we've got the wrong end of the stick here.
Yep. Although these benign conditions are absolutely perfect for rugby tonight, so we're not going to complain about that at all. Last Tuesday, a different matter. Here come the Kiwis then. Opportunity for them with Tuava.
Yeah, he's got some great feet, using his feet to his advantage. The Kiwis have got a good attacking opportunity here.
And they have got a replacement on the field there. Number 21, Caden Wise, is on.
I think they just need to be a little bit patient here, keep that ball, and
the mark
do
called,
well.
yeah. Mark well called there by Baird for Australia, right on the 22.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame that they kicked that away there. They were really building that momentum, and if they could get that ball in their hands, they could have kept building that score.
As it stands, though, it's a 13 points lead for the Australians, and we've got around 15 minutes left in this match, 65 minutes played. Tuipalu will take the line out. Change being made. The man going off, number 8 forward, is Lachlan Taylor. And he's replaced by number 21 for Australia. That's Dylan Mitrovsky.
Oh, that's great strength by the Kiwi number 12 there.
Yeah, he has done well, hasn't he? He's driven them into a position of some power. And great credit to the New Zealand side, who are pushing. This is their best period of possession, really, in this second half that we've seen so far. Putting the Australians under pressure.
Yes, that's good.
And they win the penalty.
That's a great refereeing there. The hands were all over the floor before they went for that jackal there.
Kanate Offer, who's on as well. Are they tempted to go for goal? No, absolutely not. All credit to them as well for that.
I think that's the right option. That is 14 points, or they'd need 14 points to sneak the win there. I think they start, like Jared just said, they're building momentum well. Kick through the corner, driving Maul in the corner, get the kick. It goes back to a one-score play, which in 15 minutes is fairly comfortable for most teams. So I think the momentum's still there for the Kiwis if they can keep hold of it for a bit.
Well, if they were to score now, it's going to make things very, very interesting going into these last few minutes of the match.
Yeah, that's a good build. They've come down the blind side. He's got up, he's strong. So if the Kiwis are patient now, they can hopefully batter over this Australian line.
And I think they are.
That's a try. It's a try.
The referee has given a try, and it's a great reply from them. And the man who's gone over is the number 8. I think it was it Tristan Reid who went over there.
That's a brilliant response from the Kiwis. Hopefully that they're going to get another response with their full team now. So it's going to be 15 on 15. Make it fair for once in this game.
In fact, I think it was the number 6 who went over for them in the end, and that's Bula. He's a Tongan. He's gone over for the try. Yeah, but great work from the Kiwis there, and great character. I mean, they'll never give up, will they? It doesn't matter what the position is, they're always going to play right to the end. But a really important conversion attempt now for them from their fullback, Caleb Harama.
That's definitely not his tee. To ask for a tee.
Good close-up then from Lewis, our cameraman down pitch side today. I've got Roger Giles on main camera here. That's not a bad view, is it, of him positioning himself for the kick. So, can he pull them back even further into this game? But the ball has dropped off the...
They've gone old school with the tee of these in the old-fashioned cone here.
It's not as if the wind's blowing, is it? There's no way he was ever going to get hold of that, I think, with the position there. So the score now 13 points to 5 in favour of the Australians, but this will give the Kiwis a huge amount of heart going to these last few minutes. Really important score for them, and you know, it can all change.
It could all change in an instant, as we've just seen right then. The Australians have been all over this game, and within the space of 5 minutes, the Kiwis have got down the other end and got over the whitewash.
Well, Kylie Mitroviski-Green says, "Let's go, Dylan." Obviously watching from over there in Australia. And Chris Giles is watching. Good evening to you, Chris, as well, here in the United Kingdom. Australians full on the ball. Good work from there. Dominic Morris. Forwards have been so busy tonight, worked so hard. Hooker Schneider going through, trying to work his way through, and a penalty is awarded to Australia.
Yeah, you can see the Australians slowing it down now, saying let's slow it down, let's go for posts or go for the corner, just whatever's going to take a little bit more time. Yeah, there you go, Alex has pointed to the posts. Take your full minute, that's what he's saying.
And I'm just thinking, you know, if another try for New Zealand, and suddenly all these missed kicks from Australia become very important, don't they?
It's so important.
They've got to change a kicker by the looks. So Harry Hibbs is taking over kicking duties. And can he have a bit more success than his fullback has had? Because Fraser Baird has had no success whatsoever from his kicks this evening.
Let's go, Hibbsy.
All your family's watching. It's a confident one. And he's pulled it though. So, ball to blame once more.
At the end of this Commonwealth Cup competition, we'd be delighted if you'd stick around.
That's a great result from that 22. Just a forced error to get the scrum back on that halfway line. now we can see hopefully the Kiwis execute and get back down that field.
I think they're still under 14, but it's a great testament to the way they have fought their way back into this match, that they should be back to full strength very shortly, I'd have thought, certainly for these last few minutes. Jason Morrison-Burgess says, finally Joe Tuala, the mighty one. And Alison Leroy says, come on Aussies. Yeah, penalty to New Zealand.
That was a huge amount of pressure from the Kiwis there, but from the Australians there. But fortunately they're offside, so they've taken a quick tap. They've got some momentum, and now they're running down the swing.
There's a number 13 going. Big cheers up for Esperama. Here they go. Can they force another try and really take us into interesting territory here?
They've just got to work together now.
Inside the 22.
Yeah, these Australians are going hard at this breakdown, so as long as they work together, they'll be all right.
Ball goes wide. Big number 5 goes in to Seeger, but the ball's lost. Breakdown. Opportunity for Australia to get themselves back, but nice work. Oh, and a great bit of rugby from both sides. This game really could go either way, couldn't it? It's so exciting now, these last few minutes here. 13-5 the score. Converted try for the Kiwis could pull them back within a point of the lead. A penalty to Australia.
Yeah, I think he just got a little bit too excited there, didn't he? Straight off his feet, going as hard as he could into that rock. We knew we were going to see some end-to-end stuff, but didn't really realise it was going to be like this.
No, it's really come alive. I mean, that try for the New Zealanders from Bula really has brought this game to life into the last few minutes and given us the sort of end to this Commonwealth Cup that we were really hoping for. Two really well-matched teams. When it was 13-0, you're thinking, actually, you know, the Aussies could really have run away with it at that moment, couldn't they? Especially when the Kiwis were down to 13 men.
Yeah, I definitely think they still can as well. There's 7 minutes on the clock, it looks like, and yeah, another try here, 20-0. It's a slightly different game, 25, sorry, but yeah, been a great feat from both teams.
Line out then from Schneider. Kiwis have a man down at the moment. It looks like the try scorer who's gone down.
Some good momentum being gathered by the Aussies here. Could definitely see another try.
Yeah. Oh, good defence though, keeping him out. Referee brings it back. Free kick. Australia pushing for that line. This is a really good drive. Beautifully done.
That's a great show and go there.
Yeah, by Trudgton, and he's over. Well, he's absolutely delighted with that. Look at the look of delight on his face there. Connor Trudgton goes over for the 3rd try for the Australians, and that takes them to 18 points to 5.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how the Kiwis are going to respond from that. I don't know if that was the straw that broke the camel's back. 5 minutes to go. You can never write a team off, but yeah, I think the Aussies are going to be looking good.
That looks like a killer one to me. And it was great period of play, good pressure from the Australians, but once again, Kiwis back to full strength. It almost seems like the Aussies are waiting for to take on a full strength side before they actually start scoring points. But that's just a view from the commentary position here, which is obviously total nonsense, of course. But opportunity then for at least one of these kicks maybe to go over. Harry Hibbs, the vice captain.
I think the difference has just been that Australia have just been a little bit more accurate, a little bit more patient. I think when the Kiwis have gone forward, they've looked very big, very strong, but it's that third, fourth phase of sort of forcing an offload, whereas I feel like the Australians just keeping hold of the ball. I think that's been the big difference.
And he scored. Well, that's really good news for the Australians. That takes them to 20 points to 5.
I think that was a good ball.
There's one excited Hibs household now.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get a message coming through very shortly. Alison Leroy says, come on the Aussies. Let's go Conrad Kuchia, says Wetu Dua. And Esther Lindsay, watching our Kiwi son from Cairns in Australia. Epic, Esther says. Very good morning to you out there in Australia, New Zealand, Fiji and Tonga. Tatua Moana team then trailing here now by 20 points to 5. Difficult to see a way back for them as we just go into these last few minutes now of the game. But they put up a terrific fight in this second half, particularly after going 13-0 down. A fight back looked on the cards, but Australia have played their part really well here, and I think obviously certainly on the possession, they definitely deserve this victory, don't they?
Yeah, the Australians have dominated this game very well. We spoke about it in the first half. They were unlucky not to go in with more points, and this second half the Kiwis have battled as hard as they can, but at the end of the day this game comes down to who's more clinical, and I think you'll find that the Australians have been far more clinical in this game. Yeah,
they certainly have, and one man who was particularly delighted to get the try there was Connor Trudgeon, who came on as a second half replacement. Looked very lively, and he's got his try. 3 tries for the Australians to 1 for the Tatua Moana team.
That's what you want from your scrum half, coming off, adding a ball of energy, don't you, really? And he's done just that for the Australians.
Well, he's certainly done that. But what a drive forward. That's Shergold, the New Zealand captain. And can we get another try from the New Zealand team here? Very, very strong defence, but they're trying to find a way through with their fullback. Into the phases of play. Ball goes out wide, but it's intercepted, but not forward. The referee's brought it back. And it's a penalty to New Zealand. So they still have a chance to maybe pull back a second score here. Being taken wide onto that far side by Wise.
Wonder if we're going to see a tap and go or kick to the corner here. Oh, there we go.
It's a tap and go. Oh no, referee says
bring it back.
Let the boys play.
At this stage in the game.
Oh, they've opted for the corner now after no quick to tap and go.
As we're into the last minute here. The last minute of play here at Brickfields in this 2022 Commonwealth Cup. Royal Navies from New Zealand, Australia, Tonga, Fiji. Royal Navy already the champions. We have a try here. Are we going to have a drive?
That's it. Got to be.
Is it a try?
Yeah.
It is a try. Well done to the New Zealanders there, who got the drive, got the try. And I think I heard the number 10 mentioned there, but that would be Howe. The conversion is not going to count. 20 points to 10 is the score.
Yeah, that was a great response from the Kiwis there. Their maul setup's been good when they've been getting it going, and it just shows you what they can do once they get into that corner.
Well, John Douglas says, congratulations both team. What a fantastic game we've had, and well done Australia. So the bragging rights onto the Southern Hemisphere will definitely go in the direction of Australia this evening, this morning. But these two Navy teams have produced a really terrific contest for us to enjoy. as we wrap up the Commonwealth Cup for this 4-year period. Have we got any time for anything else? This must be the last vestiges of the game. Ball ends up with the Kiwis once again. Lovely work, out of play, and the final whistle goes on the Commonwealth Cup for 2022. Well, it's a great performance from both sides here. They've given absolutely everything tonight, and you can just look at those tired bodies out there. They've really given their all. It's the Australians, though, who've come out on top by 20 points to 10. Really terrific performances all over the field tonight, and Jared and Jordan, thanks. Great to have your company this evening for both these halves. And what do you make of then of that final of the match tonight?
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. I think we thought that we were going to see some physicality, and we definitely saw some physicality in both of those teams. It's great to not only see the Kiwi and the Australian players, but also the Tongan and the Fijian players stepping up and helping the New Zealand side out. There's definitely some heart and some heart and some physicality out there, and yeah, it's brilliant to see, and definitely bringing us countries closer together.
Well, it means, you know, this Commonwealth Cup is very much alive and kicking, isn't it? And from your point of view, Jordan, you know, you've obviously been victorious for the Royal Navy team, but you know, these two sets of players have given their all tonight, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely. I think in attack, Australia have looked very controlled and patient, and I think in defence, you've just seen what the New Zealanders can bring. They've just, for 80 minutes, have just tried banging the Aussies. Nice aggressive shots, but physical. Even up to the 80th minute, they've come off the line and gone to go and get them. So I think that's sort of shown the best bits of both sides. I thought both teams have gone very, very well. But yeah, I think the Australians probably deserve to sneak this one today.
Yeah, absolutely right. A few messages coming through, of course, and Louisa Avalu Kanyanu, I hope I pronounced your name correctly, Louisa, but thanks very much for getting in touch all the way from Tonga this evening or this morning. Stuart Rimmer says congratulations to both teams, a great game. And Hans Liska, Aussie, great game, lads. Both sides have done the South proud. Absolutely right too. But it just goes to show really the level of your achievement to have beaten both of these two teams tonight, you know, who you know, as we saw against the matches against you, you know, at times they showed what they could do, but you were just better.
Yeah, fortunately, yeah, very proud of the boys, and yeah, look forward to celebrating it with them tonight.
And 4 years' time, well, who knows where that's going to be. I'm sure that's already been planned by the bigwigs already, but it'd be rather nice if you could go to the Southern Hemisphere, wouldn't it? Maybe Australia or New Zealand, perhaps, and go and defend that trophy.
Yeah, I'm going to keep my chit out for a little bit, wait until I see where this tournament's going to be, then I'll decide.
Yeah, my vote's definitely Faslane in Scotland.
A good call. Okay, well, I suspect a third successive match or series in this country might not happen, but who knows? Who knows? Well, listen, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this evening. There's obviously the bits and pieces now going onto the pitch. I think the presentation, actually, the trophy is going to happen later on, because you're obviously well dressed for that, aren't you? Ready for the presentation later on after the after-match, after-tournament dinner. So we will say good night to you, and thank you so much indeed for joining us. And I'm just wondering whether we've got Kath down there on the pitch, maybe to get a few reactions from some of the players. I think she's just wandering around at the moment, hoping to talk to someone. We'll just stay with it just a wee while longer, just while we go. Just to run through, it was half-time, 3-0 in favour of the Australian side from the penalty. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. I'll shake your hands as you leave us, and just brilliant to have the Navy captain Jared Haler and Jordan Gott as well joining us tonight, who have added their expertise very much to what we've been enjoying this evening. Just down there on the pitch there, both sets of players are now just sort of getting themselves together. Alison Leroyd says, great way to start the day in Oz. Good morning to you, Alison. And Gary Fisher says, a few beers. I think that is definitely called for. Presentation's about to be made over on that far side of the field, and we'll see if we can get a microphone in there and to bring that to you.
So then, ladies and gents, the presentation on the pitch right now. The first one is going to be for the Australian man of the match by Sir Wayne Shelford, patron of the RNZ NRU. That goes to the Australian number 7, Pete Taylor. And then for Tito Moana, the man of the match is going to be presented by Captain Paul Manzi. And that goes to Tristan Reid. Ladies and gentlemen, that's just about wraps up the Commonwealth Navy's Cup. From all of the Hogan and the Royal Navy, thank you ever so much for coming over the last few days. As mentioned previously, nearly 2,000 people have been through the gates over 3 matches. We thank you, and have a safe trip home.
So as you heard there, 2,000 people have been through the gates here over the course of the 3 matches to enjoy the Navy Commonwealth Cup. And when you bear in mind, obviously, the situation that we've had over the last few days, really, that is testament to the rugby fans here in Portsmouth and Plymouth. And obviously, people have come from all over the place, but certainly here in Plymouth to enjoy the matches that we've really enjoyed. Looks like a bit of a presentation is being made. The Aussies will always enjoy celebrating whatever it is. Certainly a victory over the Kiwis always goes down very well. As far as the New Zealand side with the Fijians and the Tongans, well, they'll just have to dust themselves down and wait for the next opportunity. Players just having a conversation and a bit of a chat with their respective coaches, and certainly pulling themselves together. The New Zealand players about to leave the field. We are hoping just to get a bit of a reaction maybe at the end from certainly for the winning team, perhaps. Maybe they get the 2 captains together. Kath Brazier just over there waiting to talk to a couple of the players, perhaps. And that looks like it's about to happen. So I'll hand you over to Kath Brazier.
We'll try not to swear. Just wait for my cue. Alex, congratulations on a win against the New Zealand, a mixture of the New Zealand Navy, but must be a nice way to finish this tournament.
Yeah, terrific way to finish off. You know, we had a tremendous game against the Royal Navy, and we've had a wonderful tour, and it's great to cap that end of the tour with a nice win over the Kiwis and the rest of the Islanders. We haven't beaten them in as long as I can remember, and I've been around for a long time.
Well, that's brilliant, and you obviously have a cup between you as well, which so it wasn't just a void game, it was important to play that as well.
Yeah, normally we try and play the Kiwis at least once every 2 to 3 years, and you know, we're lucky that we can do it over in England this time.
We build up the rivalry between the Aussies and a British team, and the New Zealand teams and the British team, but the rivalry between you guys must be even fiercer.
Yeah, it is very fierce, you know, because we always come together for a game, be it the Australian Defence Force or the Bledisloe or something like that. But at the end of the day, we are still, you know, quite close with the Kiwis and the rest of the Pacific Islanders.
I know it's disappointing to come this long way and not win no cup overall, but what sort of performance did the Royal Navy give? And do you think they had a bit of a home advantage as well?
Oh, absolutely a home advantage. But I think the game that the Aussies put on against the Royal Navy last Friday, by the end of that game, the crowd was cheering for us anyway. It was such a tremendous effort from the boys in yellow against the Royal Navy. It was something I'll never forget.
And have you enjoyed the trip? It's been a weird time, I suppose, to be over here at the moment, but have you enjoyed your time with your Navy colleagues from around the world?
Yeah, absolutely. Like rolling out of COVID, us in the Navy, we've had a pretty rough couple of years, you know, and then to get over here and have 2.5 weeks in Plymouth and the area, it's been tremendous, absolutely lovely.
And just finally, in terms of your season and Royal Australian Navy season, because it's kind of the beginning for the Brits, you know, but where are you at and what have you got to look forward to? Are you near the end of your season?
That's absolutely it for us. A couple of the boys, they played their grand final for their local comps the week before we flew to the UK. So we've got a few 7 comps for a couple of young fellas, young speedy guys, and then that's it. Have a well-earned rest for the rest of the year.
Alex, thank you so much for coming all this way and for putting on 3 really good games of rugby. It's been a pleasure to have you, and we'll see you again soon for the next Commonwealth Cup.
No worries, thanks, Kathy.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers, bud.
Bye.
Well, Kath there getting some reaction for us right at the end, and that is it for our coverage really of the Commonwealth Cup here in Plymouth. Thanks ever so much for your company wherever you are around the world, and it's been great to hear from you if you've been over on the other side of the world and enjoying the game as we move into Wednesday morning, of course, where you are. But from me, John Knighton, the whole of the team here in Plymouth and our production team as well back at our headquarters, we all say good night, leave you with the final score, a victory for the Royal Australian Navy beating the New Zealand force by 20 points to 10. From all of us, a very good night. We've actually got 6 championship bouts, a very first ever UCAF women's title fight.
Has she got the legs? Yes, take it all the way. What a lovely run.
In the third and final period, the Army ran riot again.
There's nice symmetry out there.
I know, it's weird. It's almost like they've done it on purpose.
Yeah. It's like watching Ants and Death.